Garou Mark of the Wolves, or Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves, depending on where you're from. If you grew up following fighting games, eventually you heard about this title. I wasn't able to get my hands on it on the Dreamcast, but I really wanted it bad. Anyways, this was a game in the Fatal Fury series made by SNK, and it's considered definitely one of its best titles. Back when it came out, it was around the same time frame as Street Fighter 3. And if you remember with Street Fighter 3, other than Ryu and Ken, they had removed all the other Street Fighter 2 characters initially, which kind of caused a big uproar. Well, with Garou Mark of the Wolves, they kind of went the same route. Fatal Fury had a lot of games and a lot of iconic characters, but for Mark of the Wolves, the only returning character was Terry Bogard, as he had came to defend his Southtown King of Fighters title. Now in 2017, that game's pretty much considered a classic, and it's available on the PlayStation 4, on the Xbox One through backwards compatibility, on Steam, and even the PlayStation Vita. So I figured it was a good time to take a look back at the game and see what it's all about and give a little ranking to it. So Garou Mark of the Wolves is a one-on-one fighting game. It features 12 characters, well 14 if you count the two boss characters. And it has a famous system called the TOP system. Now with the TOP system, you have your life gauge, and you could pick one of three spots: the beginning third, the middle third, or the last third. And when your life is in that little space, you gain extra attack power, your life regenerates, and you gain access to a special move that can only be done when you're in that space on your life bar. This added a cool bit of strategy. Do you lead off with it and start the match with extra power? Do you save it till the end and try to use it as a comeback mechanic? A lot of the pro players found different uses for this, and it's an easy enough concept to understand and not as hard to get as the parrying system that was in Street Fighter 3. Regardless though, these 14 characters, with Terry, Rock Howard, T-Zoc, many of the characters from this game went on to be real fan favorites and have shown up in some of the recent King of Fighter games. Even now in the new King of Fighters, a lot of people are lobbying for the Rock Howard character to be put in. These characters kind of had fighting styles from past Fatal Fury and even some King of Fighters people, like Kim's Taekwondo kind of being passed down to his twins. One cocky twin who puts lightning with his attacks, and one twin who pretty much fights exactly like him, who believes strongly in justice. There's also a character who fights like Rio from Art of Fighting. So a lot of the styles from past Fatal Fury and King of Fighter games are here. They're just represented through new people. And while that turned some people off in the past, as people love their classics, it was a risk worth taking, as they're pretty famous now. Another thing I had liked about this game was its presentation. While the animation wasn't quite as fluid as what was found in Street Fighter 3, this was definitely no slouch. Visually, other than, some of the more recent King of Fighters games, this was one of the most beautiful games I've seen SNK do. The music, though, it wasn't nothing to write home about. It just gets the job done. Average, not bad, not great. But visually, I really like the animation. I like the character designs for the most part. The battles looked real intense. You could go look up some online now. Those are some very intense tournaments. Another thing I liked about the game was its commitment to the Fatal Fury lore. If you finish the arcade mode with a good enough ranking and you fight the true boss, you get a pretty thorough ending that I think is worth seeing for all the characters if you care about that sort of thing. And overall, I mean, this game is one of those games that deserves its cult status. It's a very good game. Probably SNK's best fighting game overall, if I had to pick just one. I think it holds up really well. Even though it's available now, I wouldn't mind them remaking it with even better graphics. I hear there's a sequel possibly coming out for this game, so it might be a good time for you to go pick it up. I mean, it's available on most platforms, and I can't imagine it being no more than $15. So if you get a chance to play it, or if you're coming back and you used to have it way back in the day on the Neo Geo or the Dreamcast, I think the PlayStation 4 version and probably the Steam version as well has a gallery mode, and you can play it online. So if you wanted to hop back in, this is a good chance. If you wanted to see the story of Terry Bogard and these other characters kind of get to its end, this is a good chance to do that as well. I think that judging this as a remake is nothing special. I mean, it's average. It's nothing like Third Strike Online. But I'm judging the game itself, and it's a top tier fighter. I mean, 14 good characters with a lot of animation, a lot of moves, a lot of things to learn. And I think it'll be a good idea if you're into fighting games to pick this one up. Thanks. Peace.